Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's Ronald here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about job interviews in English and how can you perform well, some sort of tips and suggestions so that you can do well at an interview and hopefully succeed and get a good placement in a very good company. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. But if you're watching me for the first time, like I said, welcome. My name is Ronald and I help people develop their confidence and fluency in English. Okay, so let's get started with today's session, guys. All right. So you're probably watching this video because maybe you have a job interview coming up. You want to do well at your job interview. It might be a dream job. You want to do well and you want to succeed and hopefully get the job at that company that you're applying with. Yeah. Now, I worked with so many people, hundreds of people over time, and the most common thing that I hear is, or the most common challenge that most people face is, this is what they say. Yeah. I have the correct experience. My experience is very good. My technical knowledge is very good. Yeah. However, when someone asks me a question at an interview, I don't know how to answer properly. I know what the answer is. Like if they tell me to speak in Hindi or Telugu in my mother tongue language, easily I'll speak and communicate that. Yeah. But if they tell me to speak in English, I can't do that. I become very nervous or I become very shy. And because of that, I failed at many interviews and I'm not able to succeed and get a job, or it's very difficult to find a job. Yeah. Now, if you are in that place, guys, if you're facing the same challenge, same situation, then let me encourage you and tell you that that's not a permanent problem. Okay. The thing is, it's a temporary problem, and with the right training, with a little bit of advice, some practice, things like that, you can get over it and you can definitely get your dream job, whatever job you're applying for. Okay. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a few general tips with you in this video. So let's go on to my screen. And I'll also walk you through some specific things regarding English, how to speak in English at an interview, stuff like that. But before we go to the English part of it, first let's understand a few general points regarding job interviews. Okay, so let's run through it. So the first point is, guys, before you go to an interview, the very first thing, you need to make sure that you read the job description. Okay. Now, the job description, most likely than not, it would be placed on a website or a newspaper, wherever you're applying for the job, basically. Yeah, or on the company's website, they'll have a detailed description, like this is the job. We're looking for a video editor, 5 years experience, very proficient in Adobe Photoshop or DaVinci, whatever it is. Yeah, so lots of different things. They'll have all the details, what kind of person they're looking for, how many years experience, what sort of skills, everything like that. Yeah, so the first point is you want to make sure that you read through this really well. Yeah, you want to read it thoroughly and understand exactly what are their requirements. Okay, what kind of person are they looking for? That's the first step. Okay, all right, second step is you want to research the company. Yeah, research the company. So you want to know a little bit more about the company that you're going to interview with, right? For example, if you're going to go interview at Google, or it might not be a major big MNC like Google, it might be a small medium-sized company as well. You want to know as much as possible about that company. Okay, so when was the company started, who's the CEO of the company, what is the main mission of the company, what is their main product range, what do they do, what sort of service do they provide, what is the general work culture there. As much as possible you want to do your research, and you can gather this information by online means itself, like on the internet and stuff. Okay, so the more knowledge you have about the company, if they ask you any questions related about the company, like why do you want to work here, in that case you'll be able to give them a much better, stronger answer because you have a good understanding about their company already. Okay, now how should you answer questions, things like that, we'll run through in a little bit more detail, but for now let's cover these points. Okay, all right, third point, guys, is to dress appropriately. Okay, so dress well, basically. And this doesn't mean that you need to wear branded clothes or anything like that. It just means that you need to dress very well. You need to look good. Yeah, you need to look good. And how many of you guys have noticed whenever you dress well, you also feel much confident? Yeah, Now, if you're someone who's struggling with nervousness, you're a little bit shy to speak to people, you don't know how to answer things in English, now an easy tip to follow is dress well. If you're a guy, wear some really nice formals, a lovely shirt, trousers, formal shoes, make sure that your shoes are polished, things like that. Yeah, if you're a lady, you can wear like the traditional wear if you're comfortable in that, or if you want to wear like some modern outfit, then of course you can wear whatever you want, but make sure you're comfortable and that you're feeling good. Yeah, because when you feel good, your confidence also goes up. You feel much more confident, and at an interview especially, you need confidence to speak at an interview. Okay, so make sure to dress well. Fourth point, guys, like I said, these are all general tips regarding the interview. Yeah, so after these 5 points, then we'll go more specifically into the English part of it. Okay, all right, so the fourth point is arrive early. Okay, arrive early to the interview. Now, on your first day, on your interview day, you don't want to be late to an interview. Yeah, if you're late to the interview, then you might as well not attend it at all, because most likely than not, they're not going to put you through to the next round anyway. Yeah, and it gives them a negative impression. So always be on time. And then finally is to ask questions at an interview. Now, in most interviews, they might, this is how most interviews would go. Yeah, so first they'll ask you to, they'll ask you some questions, they'll quiz you on your knowledge, things like that. And then afterwards, they'll ask you like, do you have any questions? Would you like to know anything about our company? Yeah. So in that case, you need to ask them some really nice questions, which shows that you're genuinely interested in working with that company. Okay, so let's say, for example, if I'm applying to be a video editor in Google, for example, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just saying, if I'm applying to be a video editor in Google, and if they ask me like, do you have any questions, I'd be like, yeah, sure, yeah. So of course, I know a lot about your company. I've done my research. Google's a really nice place to work at. But however, I was asking, about regarding questions, I was wondering, assuming if I get the job, if I'm successful, if I get the job, how many people will be there on my team? On my team, how many people are there totally? Okay, there might be, 6 people or 10 people within your team. Okay, great. So what sort of projects would I be working on? What are the typical clients that we are going to be working with? Things like that. Yeah, so what it shows the interviewers, it shows them that I am interested, and I want to know more. So when I start, like, which sort of clients I'm going to be working with, what sort of projects we're going to be working on, it shows that I'm eager and I'm interested to get the job in the company and to work with them. Okay, so always ask interesting questions like that. All right, so those are the general tips, guys. All right, so let's clear this up for now. And yeah, we're back on my screen. So let's clear this up for now. And now let's go on to some more English tips. Yeah, English tips for interviews. Okay, great. So now with regards to English tips, again, there are a few things specifically for English that you want to understand. Okay, so let's go through that again. So the first point, guys, is before you go to an interview, you need to practice like with common interview questions. Yeah, common interview questions. Now these, like the common questions, you can find it online. You can search for common questions and stuff like that and practice. For example, tell me about yourself. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? What are your skills? What is your strength? What is your weakness? Why do you want to work in this company? All of these questions are all commonly asked interview questions, So you need to be well prepared for these questions. Okay, so that is the first point. Now the more you prepare, obviously the better you will be able to do. You'll be much more confident, you'll be able to speak, communicate better, everything like that. So read the common interview questions and prepare that accordingly. Okay, now the second point is, guys, with every answer, all of your answers must be focused. It has to be focused on the point. Yeah, it has to be focused on the point. So what I mean is, let me give you an example. Yeah, let's say we're looking at a question, one of the common questions. Yeah, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. Now I'll do 2 versions of this answer. Right, so the first version, tell me about yourself. my name is Ronald, I like to do video editing, and that's why I applied for this job. I've been working on lots of video editing projects. I worked with some clients, this client A, client B. I like video editing. I'm very good in video editing. I've done lots of projects for my friends. My mom and dad, they also used to be in the IT industry. I come from a family of IT people, things like that. Okay, blah blah blah. All right, great. Now that is version number 1. Yeah. Now, as you can see in version number 1, I'm just talking like lots of things, lots of information, lots of details, lots of unnecessary distracting details, which means it is not focused. Yeah. Now I'll give you version number 2. Okay. Version number 2. Now version number 2 has to be on the point, focused on the point. Yeah, so tell me about yourself. So my name is Ronald, so I completed my formal education here, ABC. I have a very keen interest within videos, video editing, filmmaking, things like that, and because of that I pursued down this career path, and I have 5 to 6 years experience as a video editor, and I worked on projects like A, B and C with big name clients like big companies, big projects like A, B and C, for example. And I really want to work in your company. I love to work in your company in this position I applied for, because number 1, I researched a lot about your company, and I feel that it suits in line with my career goals and my mission. I feel that I can learn a lot in your company. I can also contribute a lot within your team, everything like that. So I'm really interested in working in this position with your company. Yeah, so you see how version 2 is much more better, guys, because it's very, very focused. I'm not talking about my family is this, I grew up in this place, I studied in that place, like a long story. Yeah, I'm keeping it very focused. And remember, in an interview, every answer that you give, you always want to be like selling. Yeah, and what I mean by selling is, you, in every answer that you give, you always want to try and convince the interviewer why should they hire you, why are you the best person. Yeah, so every answer that you give, somehow, some way, you must tie it up back to I am the best person for this job. That's why like, see, in my answer I said like I'd love to work in your team, I can contribute a lot, I'm very experienced, I got the qualifications, all of that is convincing them that they should hire you. Okay, so anyway, that's the second point, guys. We can go on and on about it, but anyway, let's remember it, which is keep your answers focused. Okay, point number 3, guys, is to listen carefully. Okay, listen carefully. Now, listen carefully, meaning whenever they ask you a question, you need to listen carefully and only then give your answer. Okay. Now, if you're not listening carefully, what happens is sometimes they might ask you a question, you might misunderstand the question, and then you will give them the wrong answer. Okay, and this has happened many times. I've seen it happen with a lot of people. Yeah, and this is not good. It gives them the wrong impression, because they might think, okay, this person doesn't have no attention to detail, or look, this person can't understand what I'm saying, so it'll give them a negative impression. All right, so before you answer, first make sure that you understand the question properly. You listen carefully. If you cannot understand what the question is, ask them to repeat it one more time. Okay, and most of the time people are kind enough and they will be more than happy to repeat the question. Okay, so make sure you understand the question first, listen carefully, and only then you give your answer. Okay, all right, going back to the board, guys. So number 4, which is to be confident. Okay, be confident. Now, confidence is very, very important, guys, when it comes to interviews especially. Yeah, so English and confidence, both of these things are very, very important at an interview scenario. Okay, now depending what your English level is, how fluent you are, things like that, you need to work on yourself and you need to become better. Now ideally you should be joining some sort of English class, or if you can't really afford that, you should be learning online in your free time, things like that. And you need to practice speaking a lot. Yeah, so the more you practice, the better you'll become. With regards to confidence, you need to speak with lots of people. Again, practice, every day talk to people. The more you interact with people, the more you practice talking with them, you'll develop your social skills, your people skills, your confidence, everything will go up. Yeah, but for now, let's say, okay, I'm not that very confident, I'm a little bit uncomfortable, I'm nervous, I'm shy to speak. What can I do? My interview is next week. How can I become more confident within 1 week's time? Yeah, in that case, guys, this is what you can think of. Okay, whenever you're attending any interview, remember that it's okay, you might get the job, you might not get the job, that is fine. Yeah, but what you need to remember is interviews are just a numbers game. Okay, so let me share my screen with you and I'll explain this concept to you. Yeah, it's a numbers game, and what I mean by that is it's just a law of numbers. Yeah, that's what it's called, with regards to marketing and things like that. Yeah, so what it means is the more number of interviews that you attend, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, how many other interviews you attend, the more number of interviews you attend, you will definitely get a job offer. 100% you will definitely get a job offer if you're making an effort, if you're working hard. Yeah, now you might not get it in your first interview, second interview you also might fail, third one too you might fail, fourth one too you might fail, maybe you'll get it in your seventh interview, but you have to carry on. You need to keep on applying, continue attending interviews, and the more interviews you attend, you will definitely get a job offer. Okay, so don't worry about will I get a job or not. You will get a job for sure. Yeah, provided that you're working hard, you're continuing to attend interviews. So if you don't succeed at this interview, don't worry about it, just go on to the next one. Apply for the next company, go on to the next one. Okay, so what you need to think in your mind, guys, is you want to do the best that you can. All right, do the best that you can and don't worry what the outcome is, and that will boost up your confidence much more. Okay, guys, so yeah, let's wind up this video for now. So that's the thing that I want to share with you today. If you found that helpful, then give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel for more tips and tricks like this. All right, so nice to see you guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you soon.